Good evening, Biparted people. I am so excited for this call tonight. This is our first call for July 2019. We've got a lot of new people who have come in over this last week, somebody like 30 minutes ago or an hour ago. So we're so excited to have everybody here tonight. And because we have so many new ones that are coming in right now, I'm just going to run through some of the logistics about how the call works, or the calls work, how everything works with the Rise Up Group Mentoring Program. So we get 2 calls a month, and they are generally the second and fourth Wednesdays of the month from 7 until 9 p.m. Mountain Time. So that's 6 p.m. Pacific and 9 p.m. Eastern Time. I'll do about 10 to 15 minutes of ongoing training, and then I open it up to questions. And so wherever you are at in the modules, wherever you're at in what you're wanting to create, I am here for personalized coaching for as long as we need. So if you have to pop off after a little while and come back on, or if you can only catch us for part of it, we're so happy to have you for any amount of time that we get you on these calls. Now the modules are something separate, and so I had somebody who came from a different program that she was working with me in, and said, am I behind on anything? I see all these calls you've already done, so what happens? So for those of you who have worked with me previous in the mastermind, I've now restructured it into the Rise Up Group Mentoring Program, which is so much better, because that means people can come in at any time, because now all the modules are recorded and you can watch them as fast or at the pace that you want. And so the ongoing training that I'm talking about really is not about this week we're on module 4 or this week we're on module 8. It's not with the modules, it's ongoing training with what I have learned as I continue to study, and I'm working with my mentors that I think, oh, my clients need this piece. This is going to be so helpful for them. So that's what I talk about with the ongoing training with these calls. So it's generally a general topic, and you guys know me, I'm highly intuitive, so I'm just like, okay, what do people need? And I'm excited and a little bit nervous for tonight's training because of what dropped in with what you guys need, but it's super exciting. And so I'll get into that in just a minute. So I don't want you to panic and think that you're behind and needs a good butt kicking. I can kick butts with lots and lots of love, so I'm happy to do that if you need a good butt kicking. But the modules you're going to take at your own pace. Now, having said that, ideally you're going to do 1 to 2 modules a week. I do not want you banging out all of these modules in 18 days or 17 days. There's 17 modules. I do not want you doing 1 a day, and let me tell you why. I need this information that I'm giving you and this transformation to sink in. You need time to process things. I'm giving you assignments on some of those modules that you need time to practice with and get the feel of things. So if you want to do 2 a week, then do 2 a week if you want to get through it. But I don't want it to just be, I've got to get through all these modules, okay? Because everything is so juicy, and these are the pieces that you need for your transformation. So I've told some of you, it's everything you need and nothing you don't, and that's really what it is. There's no fluff in there. There's no hype in there. It's just what you need in there. All right. So I really want you to give yourself that time and that space to be able to do the modules. Now that said, I don't want you doing 1 and then waiting a month and doing another one. Otherwise, you're never going to hit your goal that you've got written on your card. So we want to keep up a nice pace with them, but I don't want anybody thinking, oh no, I'm way behind, I slacked off. That's suffering state that you're putting yourself into. And I believe that's module 3. Which is, whoa, so powerful. So we want to make sure that you're staying in a beautiful state, and, you know, take that personal accountability and put it on your calendar, program it into your phone to remind you, I'm doing another module today. You're going to get an email every week that says, oh, if you're following the program, then you're at module 4, and this is what you're going to learn in module 4, and here's the link to get in there. All right. So was there a handout for module 1? I made my card. I was just wondering if I was supposed to be doing a deeper dive. There is not a handout for module 1. Module 1 is your goal card. Where's my goal card? Right here. I eat my own dog food, you guys. So here is my goal card next to my person. Jana hasn't been getting a weekly email. Check your junk folder, Jana. If you haven't been getting one, you should. So we'll check ours on the back end as well, but you should be getting a weekly email. Anne hasn't either? Well, we will look right into that because you should be. I loaded you in there, so you definitely should be getting a weekly email. Okay, now, and Tiffany asked a really great question about handouts. There is not a handout on every module, so I don't want you to panic if you don't see one. Like, where's our homework? That was a question I got all the time with previous clients. What's our homework for the week? And I'm like, you want more homework? Well, how about you just continue to do what I've been teaching you to do? Keep your goal card with you. Look at it all the time. Listen to your NEDs. Be aware of when you're in a suffering state. Go into a beautiful state. Like, I'm giving you plenty to do. So the point of this whole program when I created it was I got to be able to transform when I'm in the grocery store. I got to be able to do stuff while I'm taking a shower, not like I have an hour's worth of homework every night. Okay, so there are a few sit-down things that you'll be doing in a couple of the modules, but for the most part, the massive action that I want you to take is mental action. Okay, which is the funnest action and sometimes the hardest action to take as well. All right, does anybody have any questions for me so far? I've given you a brief overview of how the modules work. If you've got a question, put it in the chat. And I've also put a link to sign the agreement. It's just a terms and conditions. So if you haven't signed that, please find that in the thread and I can pin it to the top again. To make sure that that's all signed and taken care of. So you all should have gotten an email about that, and if not, I put the link in there so that you can just go in there. It takes 20 seconds to click and sign that, and it's just best business practices. So Tiffany says, it's hard to have a goal my husband doesn't support. Well, it is if that's what you believe it is. And could you cover NEDs further when it's appropriate? Okay, so you guys are jumping into coaching, so wait just a minute. Let me do some training first, okay? You guys are so cute. Oh my gosh. I'm in love with you all so much. I just have to tell you. Okay, so, and yes, I'll answer those questions. I'll answer those questions for you guys, absolutely, coming up here. I talk fast. If you guys forgot, I talk fast, so listen fast, and I talk faster when I'm excited. So I want to give everybody time who wants to be coached tonight, so I just like to talk fast. Our next call for July will not be July 24th in 2 weeks. It will be July 31st in 3 weeks. So I want you to make note of that. I'll post it in the Facebook group as well. There should be a calendar in there of all of the dates for our calls until the end of the year. But make note that we will not be having a call on the 24th. In Utah, it is known as Pioneer Day on the 24th. And so Utah has a big celebration for that day, and there's a lot of people here who live in Utah, and so I just thought, you know what, in deference to fireworks and all of the Pioneer Day celebrations, since we have 5 Wednesdays in July this year, we're just gonna bump it back a week, okay? So make note of that. Okay, now let's jump into your training. Okay, so you guys all know that I follow nudges, and I follow nudges even if they don't make sense. And I follow nudges even when they're scary, and I follow nudges even when they're hard and when they're easy. And quite honestly, this felt like a scary nudge to follow, but I have been told that you guys can handle it and you guys are ready. And so I'm going to give you some training with an experiment and an invitation to join me in a really, really powerful experiment that I would ideally like you to do until the end of the year. So let me back up just a second and let me tell you why this is the training that came in so clearly to me for tonight. As you have been posting your goal cards, and by the way, you guys, I love that. So please, if you don't have a picture of the card, you don't have to take a picture if you don't want to. Some of you have, which is really fun. But I want you to at least post what you've written on your card. I need to make sure that they're nice and tight, that they're succinct, and so that your mind can actually picture what you're wanting. So I don't want you being vague. And so I want to be able to help you tighten those up on your goal cards. So post it if you haven't yet, so we can make sure that we're right on target and that people aren't in la la land wanting $1 billion in the next 4 months, okay? Because that's actual La La Land. That's way too big of a jump for everybody in here, including myself. So I want to make sure that it's something that is something that's not beyond the scope of reason, and that you have that date on your goal card as well. So, and it's got to be not within 6 months. We need by December 31st, 2019, or by November 3rd, 2019, or whatever that is. If some of you have a bigger goal that you want to have a longer date range on, if it doesn't feel believable to you in the next 4 to 6 months, push it out. If you want to do it in 9 months, that you feel like, okay, the 9 months feels more believable to me, then put it in for 9 months, okay? But I don't want it to be like, well, in 4 years, I'd like to be having my own business, right? So I want it to be believable, but also I have to give you a sense of urgency. So most of the goals that I have noticed you have posted have to do with money, which is fan-freaking-tastic. I don't know anybody who doesn't want to make more money or to learn how money actually works. And by the way, the module on money, you can watch that module out of order. So if you're bumping up against some money demons, watch that next. Okay, so there's just a little aside to that one. And so I want to give you a really, really powerful experience to open the windows of heaven so that money can come to you. So I'm not teaching a religion class here, and we've got people of lots of different faiths and lots of different beliefs. So all of us here believe in God or some sort of a higher power. So my vocabulary is God. If that doesn't resonate with you, then just put in whatever your vocabulary is for your higher power. And I find truth no matter where it is. So if it's in the Old Testament, I'll go there. If it's in the Quran, I'll go there. If it's in the Torah, I'll go there. If it's in the Tao Te Ching, there's so much truth in the Tao Te Ching. So any of that, like, I'll find truth where truth is. And so I'm not here to convert anybody, but I am here to show you how powerful God is and how powerful the universe is, and that you can harness those powers and leverage those powers so quickly and so easily. So it's very interesting that there is only one time where God tells you to prove him and test him in a blessing. And it's the open the windows of heaven blessing. And I actually learned this from Edwene Gaines. And those of you who know her, do I have her book on my desk? I don't. She wrote a really awesome book called The 4 Spiritual Laws of Prosperity. And she talks about different spiritual laws to become prosperous. And she isn't of any particular denomination, but she's got a really close relationship with God. And so she would go through scripture to see what there was about forgiveness, to see what there was about riches, to see what there was about all of the things that she was wanting to create in her life. And this was at a time when she was so broke. She had no money. And she came across tithing scriptures. And she was like, well, good thing that doesn't apply to me because I don't make hardly any money. So I dodged that bullet right there. I don't have 10% to give. But something kept nagging at her. And so she likes to research. And so she was like, you know what? I'm going to find all of the different scriptures there are in the Bible about tithing. And she was actually doing it so she could find a loophole so she could get out of paying tithing. And she couldn't find the loophole anywhere. She's like, I looked and looked and looked, and she couldn't find a loophole. And she was quite upset by this, actually. So she talks to God like she has come to Jesus talks with God, which is really funny to me. But she's just like, all right, God, well, here's the deal. All right, I'm going to give you 6 months because that's all I got. That's all I have patience for. And I'm going to pay tithing for 6 months. Now, what she means by tithing is 10%. And it doesn't have to be to a religious organization. It's wherever you are spiritually fed. So if there's a fabulous author that just feeds your soul, then you can do a tithing to them and send it to them. If it is a religious organization, then that's where you're spiritually fed. Send it to a religious organization. You may not send it to a charity. That is not tithing. That's a charitable donation, which is something that's different from tithing. All right, so it can't be a charity. It's got to be where you are fed yourself, where your soul is fed. Okay, it can be a person, it can be an entity, it doesn't matter what it is, but it's got to be 10%, and it's 10% off the top. All right, so it's not 10% after expenses, it's not 10% after taxes, it is 10% off the top. Okay. Now, some of you are going to kind of swirl with this, and others of you are going to be like, well, okay, I've done tithing for a very long time, and I've never had the windows of heaven actually open up to me. And I'm going to show you what you do to get the windows of heaven to open to you. But here's the logistics of it. For the next 6 months, any time that money comes into you, you are to tithe it. If it's a birthday gift and it's money, you're going to tithe it. If it's your paycheck, you're going to tithe it. If somebody is like, I know you're having a rough time, here's $100, you're going to tithe it. All right. If you choose to rise to this experiment with me to see if the windows of heaven will actually open for you, and I promise that they will. All right. So find whatever feeds you spiritually so that you know where you're tithing it. And you're going to track it as well, so that anything that comes in, you're going to track that it comes in and where it's going, all right, where you're going to tithe it. Now, what you're going to do on top of that is forgiveness work. And some of you are already doing forgiveness work, but that's the forgiveness piece is kind of the linchpin that really, really opens the windows of heaven. Heaven can pour down a blessing so there's not room enough to receive it. Yeah, Kelly's turned on her camera showing us her forgiveness work. I've got my cute little notebook right here with all of the forgiveness stuff that I have done and am continuing to do. Because I have paid tithing since I was a young girl. And oh my gosh, I mean, you guys know my money story and how much we struggled and how terrible it was. And I'm like, we're paying tithing, like what the crap, what's going on? And so the forgiveness piece is what is going to be so powerful with this. And I had never done this before. I've never done the forgiveness piece with it. So those of you who aren't familiar with what the forgiveness piece is we're going to take Jesus's admonition in the scriptures to forgive 70 times 7. We're going to take it literally. And so every day for 7 days, you're going to write 35 times in the morning and 35 times in the evening, I now completely forgive blank. Now somebody just popped into your mind that you know, oh, I still got a little bit of hang up over there, over that person or whatever the situation was. Some of you have a list of people you know still need some forgiveness work. And so whoever that is, that's who you get to focus on this week. And that's the only thing you're going to write in your forgiveness work is I now completely forgive name. Or you can write I now forgive name completely. All right. So either of those variations is fine, but you're not going to go into the story of it. You're not going to go to, into, even though you're a big fat jerk, you're not going to go into any of the story. All right. And so I just think about the person as I'm doing the work and writing the sentences. So 35 times in the morning, 35 times in the evening, that equals 70. You're going to do it for 7 days. That's 70 times 7. Kristen has a great question. Can we type it or does it have to be handwritten? Handwritten. And let me tell you why handwritten. Because when you are writing something, first of all, it sharpens your focus. And second of all, pen to paper connects head and heart, which is another word for conscious and subconscious. Many times your subconscious is referred to as your heart. So we want to connect those two and have a sharp focus. And so it's going to take you, I've timed this, it takes about 9 minutes in the morning and 9 minutes in the evening. So give yourself some time for that. And really, it doesn't have to be first thing. It doesn't have to do any of that. Just do it twice a day so that you're not writing it 70 times in one fell swoop, because that's hard. All right. So just split it up twice a day and do that. This is the piece that is really going to help open those windows of heaven for you. Now, when Edwene did this experiment, first of all, she was very clear. God gave her, she was going to give God 6 months and that's it. And she's like, and if nothing changes in 6 months, well then too darn bad for you. I'm not going to pay tithing ever again. And she said in the first 3 months, nothing happened with her money. But something amazing happened with her faith. She said her faith got so strong and it got so big. Like she started realizing she could actually rely on God and that God would provide. And then month 4 came and she said her business doubled. And then month 5 came and then it doubled again. And then by then, she was like, okay, I'm sold. I will always pay tithing from here on out. She said she's created multiple businesses having no idea how to create a business. She's like, God and I just created some businesses together that were very successful and very lucrative because she paid a tithe and she did the forgiveness piece. And I was like, oh, that's what it is. I've always paid tithing, but I haven't done the forgiveness. And there was that time when the money got tighter and tighter and tighter, that there was a lot of relationship upset that was going on in my life. Do you like that euphemism for I was so freaking pissed off at people? Relationship upset. All right. Yeah. So there was that going on in my life, and I was bitter. I was resentful. I was victim-y. I was hurting. So like I was in a massive state of suffering, and I didn't trust people. And so I didn't really trust God at that point either. And so I was like, oh, that's what it is. That's what it is. It's the tithing plus the forgiveness. So it may be difficult to write that much. Hands don't work well. Suggestions. Can you do them in like 10 sentence blocks or 5 sentence blocks, and then just spread it out throughout your day, Anne? So see if that will work. We can certainly play with it if you've got issues going on with your hands. But I do want you to try it handwriting. All right, that is so powerful. Now, what I have experienced with this, Crystal, great question. I'll answer that in just a second. What I have experienced with this is that it takes about 2 or 3 days before I actually feel something different towards the person that I'm doing forgiveness work with. So the first couple of days, I'm just like, yeah, all right, am I almost done yet? What sentence am I on? All right, but then something happens on like day 3, and suddenly I would feel like this softening. I could actually start seeing their side of it, and I started feeling more compassion for that person. And so like it's been really, really interesting, and it's been so simple. That's all I have done. Crystal asked, do we have to forgive a different person every week? I would say yes to that. But if you have been working on forgiving somebody for 7 days and you haven't felt a shift for you yet, go ahead and do them for another 7 days. I have found that sometimes it takes about 9 or 10 days and then something will shift for people. But if you're like, whoa, there is some real deep-seated stuff going on here, then yeah, do them for 2 weeks and that will be just fine. I also want you to put yourself in the forgiveness work. So you'll notice that I now forgive myself completely. And I did that on week number 2. So if somebody has immediately popped into your head, that's who you're going to do first. And then you're going to do yourself that second week. And then I've actually just kind of got a list of people that like I know that I still need to forgive. Now, the really cool thing about forgiveness is that it has nothing to do with them. It's not absolving them of wrongdoing. It's not their get out of jail free card. This is the most beautiful exercise and the most self-serving exercise that there is, because what you're literally doing is you are unbinding yourself from that situation and that suffering state, and you are cutting the energy that you have with that person that is pulling you back to that experience over and over and over again. You're breaking shackles, you guys. It has nothing to do with them, and it has everything to do with you. And so if you're like, I'm just not ready to forgive this person yet, are you ready to make $10,000 a month? Because this is what it's going to take for you to make $10,000 a month consistently. So is it worth it to you to get your goal card to forgive that person? Now, I'm not saying that you're going to have this amazing relationship with this person again. You're not going to take the person who abused you out to lunch and be like, let's be best buds, all right? You don't have to do anything like that at all. But it is about unbinding yourself and breaking the shackles that are keeping you held back. I know you have forgiven somebody for the same thing over and over and over again. And it's not because they keep doing the same thing. It's because you're still connected to that experience, and your mind keeps taking you back to it. So we've got to cut you free from that experience so that you can create the life that you know you want to live. All right, and that's what this does. Okay, Shane says, same person for how long? Can it be writing their name for one session? So it's going to be for a full week. So it's every day for 1 week. It's the 70 times 7, literally. All right, so if you remember in the New Testament, one of the disciples asked, how many times do I forgive someone? Do I forgive them 7 times? And Jesus said, you forgive them 70 times 7. So we're taking that admonition and we're just going to take it literally. All right. And I don't think that Jesus meant literally like, okay, now we're at 490, so we're good. It just meant you continually forgive. But we're taking this thing literally, and we're going to see how it changes our life. Kristen asked, how long are we doing the forgiveness work? Is it ongoing? So if you choose to take up this invitation and accept the tithing challenge with this, I want you to do this from now until the end of the year. That's 6 months. I want you to give this 6 months, all right, of the daily forgiveness work, and then tithing 10% off the top to whatever person or group or organization feeds your soul. Okay, super simple. What if I ran out of people to forgive? I don't think that you will, Kristen, but if you do, like, whoa, let me rub shoulders with you. I think you'll find some. And if not, then go into forgiving yourself. So Tiffany says, I have people you can forgive for me. Tiffany, you're gonna give Kristen your 20 grand a month income. That's super cute. All right, does anybody have any questions about this challenge I have just dropped in front of you? We could share. I love it, Tiffany. No questions? Okay, can I get a commitment? Who's willing to commit right now to this experiment? We got Cora. Kristen is committing with Tiffany to share their people. Tiffany says it's resonating. Kelly's down for it. Shane's committed, already started. We got Teresa up here. We got Maya. Is that, yeah, Maya's raised her hand. Maya, do you want us to call you Maya or Martha? Do you want Maya? Maya? Okay, awesome. I love it. Let's see, Vicky's been doing it for 2 weeks. She's committing. Joanna's doing it. Yes, Amy's doing it. Oh, you guys, I love this. And you know what? We're going to use the Facebook group to be like, all right, this is the experience I had today. And oh my word, I felt something shift in my heart. And even if nothing happened yet, post it. All right, we're going to celebrate each other's successes. We're going to move. We're going to, we're going to support each other in this and celebrate and support each other. If it's like, nothing's happened yet. It's okay. It's okay. Remember, Edwene said it took 3 months before anything in her money changed, but then it changed really fast. But what did change was her certainty, her faith, her trust, all of that. And that's what you really want to change anyway, because money is just an outcropping of your beliefs and your thoughts. Okay? So sweet. Thank you for letting me keep you accountable. All right, my friends, that is our training for today. Oh, this is super juicy. All right. Oh, Kelly's got a quick question. Could we have a document on Facebook of the different books you bring up? That is a fantastic idea. Yes, Kelly, let me make a note. Books I talk about. Sweet. And I'm certainly not the only one who's a reader in this group. So if you guys have found books that are like, this was so powerful for me, share it. I love compiling book lists that are really helpful. So yeah. Kelly keeps writing them down on different pieces of paper and then, yeah. Or like, where did that go? Yeah, absolutely. Happy to do that. Okay, my friends, the time is yours. Who wants to go first? Who wants some coaching? Cora, you're up, darling. Let's unmute you. Hang on.
Okay. Sorry, we were both trying to unmute me.
Oh, is that what we were doing?
Yeah.
Thank you, Mary. We will address Ned's. Yes, but I'm going to give Cora the floor right now.
So my question was about the same module, the daily affirmation. Mm-hmm. In the handout, 2 blanks in the second paragraph. I'm wondering what those are.
You broke up just a little bit on me, so will you repeat that, please? I heard, no, not second paragraph.
Okay. On the, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. On the second paragraph of the daily affirmation, there are 2 blanks. It says, the truths of my blank and blank are seeking into my subconscious mind.
Yes.
What are the blanks?
Have you listened to the call yet?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. So I left those words there blank intentionally because I want you to pick 2 words or a small phrase that you want to sink into your subconscious mind. So the words that I picked was my everlasting peace and my ultimate prosperity are now sinking into my subconscious mind because those were the programs that I wanted to run. But if you're already running a program of peace and that everything works out for you, you don't need that. So wonderful question. That's why I left those 2 things blank. So what are the 2 codes that you want to run that are going to help you get your goal?
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's all I have for the moment.
Okay. Beautiful. Thank you, Cora. Who's next? Who got here? Maya?
Yeah.
Hi, darling.
Hi, how are you?
Magnificent. How are you?
Good, doing really well.
Fantastic. Hang on just a sec before we jump into your coaching. The module she was talking about was the powerful belief, the power in decisions. And I believe that's module 5. It's where the NEDs and the daily affirmations are. So that's the module that Cora was asking about. Okay, great. All right. Maya, you're up, darling.
Okay, so let me tell you where I'm at.
Okay.
So if first of all, I've listened to number 1 and number 2 module.
Okay.
And so I'm beginning to work right now on 2 because that's a big one with that 30-day experiment and all those things. So
yes,
I'm starting that. So my statement is, I am so happy and grateful now that I make over $10,000 a month in a way that is easy and flexible for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I put a date of January 31st, 2020.
Okay.
So I'm going to tell you about this little hiccup that I have.
Okay, awesome.
Okay, so I sold my house before I signed up with you, right? My rental house. And so I, received this large chunk of money. Well, I spoke to my CPA and he said, for federal, I don't have to worry about paying taxes on it at all, only state, because I usually in the past have made only $50,000 a year or below $50,000 a year. Okay. So he said, as long as you don't make $50,000 a year, you won't have to pay taxes. So every time I say this now, not every time, but it's just in the back of my mind. And I'm like, crap, I'm totally sabotaging.
You are, because you're thinking, I don't want to make 10,000 because I don't want to pay taxes.
Right. Hello.
Yes. So you need to listen to the money call.
Okay.
You need to go to the money module so that you can understand how money actually works.
Okay.
What you're doing right here is you're putting a limit on money. You're making it a limited supply because that's been your experience. Like, oh, I've got enough now and now I have to wait till more comes. Most people have that experience with money flowing in kind of, but then flowing out really fast and then taking a while to flow back in. So we get into scarcity and we freak out and we're like, when's it gonna come? And then we really put ourselves in this teeny tiny little box because we're afraid more money won't come. And that is just not how money actually works, unless you believe that's how it works. And then that's how it works. And so what we're gonna plug you into is the limitless supply of money, so that you are paying lots and lots in taxes. Because if you're paying lots and lots in taxes, it means you're making lots and lots of money. And that's what we want to do. We want to give money a purpose, because money, when money has a purpose, money will come in. But if the purpose you're giving money is so that you feel comfortable and secure, that is not a reason for money to come in. And people get really stuck here in this spot of, I just want to be comfortable. I just want to feel secure. I freak out whenever I look at my bank account and I see the money going lower and lower. That scarcity consciousness, and we want wealth consciousness and prosperity consciousness.
So what would be my purpose then? What is the purpose of the money if it's not for I mean, I have specific things in my mind.
Then that's the purpose. What are you going to spend the money for? Why do you want 10 grand a month? What are you going to use it for?
I'm going to buy a house.
That's an awesome purpose.
Yes. I'm going to, I mean, I'm thinking I'm going to live comfortably and peacefully and happily and never have to worry about, you know, finances again.
Okay, so stop right there. You worrying about finances gets to happen long before the money's there. Choosing not to worry about finances is a conscious choice you make, and you're making it conditional on how much money is in your account or how much is coming to you. We all do this, and that's why you freak out. The most powerful mantra that I got with money was, I will never struggle financially ever again. Period. The end. There's my decision. That's my choice. It has nothing to do. I can have negative 1,000 in my account and still not struggle, or I can have 1 million or more in my account and still not struggle. It has nothing to do with how much money is in your account. It has to do with your decision. And worry puts you in a state of suffering. You cannot build financial freedom in a suffering state. You can't. That's not where it goes. Like that's not where it is. And this is the module right before the NED module. So the money module is number 4, so I think it's number 3. That's the beautiful states versus the suffering states.
Okay.
Most people are like, I just want financial freedom. I want financial freedom. I want financial freedom. I want you to tweak it just a little bit to financial relaxation. And let me tell you why. We toss around financial freedom like confetti, and 97% of the population has never experienced financial freedom. They have no idea what it feels like. They can't picture it even. I mean, you kind of can, but it feels like such a pipe dream. What does it even mean? It's lost any sort of meaning. You know exactly what financial relaxation feels like, though, because you've experienced it. You experienced it when you sold your rental home. Look at that. Like, yes, I have. You experience it on payday. You might only experience it for 10 minutes before you start paying bills, but you know what financial relaxation feels like. And that's what I want you connected to all the time, regardless of how much money is in your account. And so Candy says a house is a tax advantage. So yeah, booyah there. Oh, Mary says it's module 5. So thank you for that. Candy says when you have lots of money, you get the best financial advisors. Yeah, absolutely. So that you make your money work for you, because you'll never work for your money again. You're going to make it work for you. And so but you get to make that choice right now. I'm not going to worry about money ever. I'm not going to worry about taxes. In fact, I don't allow worry in my vocabulary. So do you ever say, oh, I'll worry about that later? Don't ever worry about anything ever again. I'll say, I'll focus on that later. There's nuance in language that's really, really powerful. So I want worry out of your vocabulary. I want afford out of your vocabulary. Now, rather than like, oh, I'm worried about this, I'll allow myself to say, I'm concerned about this. This is something I want to focus on and make sure that, I want to focus on the solution, not the problem. But just be aware of what you're saying around money. All right. Okay. And you're going to love that money module. It's mind blowing.
Okay.
So fun. Did that help?
Yes, that helped a ton.
Great. Anything else?
Good. And so we set a date, right? Do we need to do that now in our mantra, in our daily focus?
The date, no, but I do want you to look at it on your card. And let me tell you about why I have the date, why I have you put the date on there. It's for a number of reasons. Most people go sideways. You see my date right up there, August 4th, 2019. Most people will go sideways when they put a date on it. And then they're like, I'm totally panicked now. What if I don't get it? So there's a couple of reasons. First of all, it's a pipe dream until you put a date on it. A date makes it real. It makes it something that you're actually working toward. Also, the fun thing about the date is, and you'll learn this in a later module, it's called the law of gestation. We really can't say when this is going to happen. It's like when you're going to have a baby. You kind of have a general idea of when the baby's going to come. But even if you induce labor, it's not, well, the baby's going to be here in 3.5 hours, so bank on it. You know, like we've got a general time frame. And so while we really don't have massive control over the when, what I want you to do with this is to see how close you can get to it, how close you can hit your target, if you've hit your target. And I want you to be in lots of awareness during this period that you're creating what it is that you want, so that you're not the weakest link, that you're like, oh, well, it didn't come because it didn't come. If you're doing your part and your part only, and you're doing everything that I tell you to do, and the date comes and goes, there's a couple of reasons that it happens. Either you didn't actually do what I told you to do, and if you get honest with yourself, then you know, oh yeah, there were a couple of weeks here and there that I didn't do anything with it, or it's not quite ready for you yet. And so you just continue to live in that expectation and that optimism. You keep doing it because the gestation period's not quite there yet. All right, that's why I have you put the date on the card. So no need to, you know, tip over backwards with the date. It's great. Wonderful question.
Hey,
Anything else?
awesome.
You get it?
I think that's it. I don't have any questions yet.
Okay, beautiful, beautiful. What do? Put it in the group and tag me, and I'm happy to answer your questions. Candy says, I literally felt chills and a huge shift when I added the date. Yep, it does something very powerful energetically when you do that. Okay, wonderful. And Shane says, business owners with the appropriate advisors will actually pay less percentage in taxes. It's true. That's true too. So you don't have to get all concerned that you're going to lose all of this money to taxes. You won't. It'll be good.
Okay. Okay. I can see how I was focused on loss.
Yeah.
Worry and, you know, struggle or whatever, instead of just focusing on abundance and just focusing on that.
Yes. Yep.
Period.
Exactly. Yep. Love it. What you focus on expands. It's called the law of attention. So yeah, that's what we want.
Thank you
very much. You're welcome. You are welcome. All right, Jana asked, will you post a reminder of the things we are supposed to be doing? My biggest issue is remembering. So here's the problem with that, Jana, is that everybody's in a different spot. You've been in this group for 2 months now. So you're at a totally different place than other people are. And so if you'll post in the group where you're at, like what module you're on, what you're working towards, then I can help you with that. But just to post something generally about where people should be, people are at all different stages. And so where you're at, Maya is not. And so it'll just throw people into confusion if I do it that way. Okay. Crystal says, on the cards, can I continue to change it, or do I need to come up with it and stick to it? Okay, I need a little bit of clarification on the cards. Are you talking about what you're working towards? Yeah, Tiffany, you're up next to be coached. Are you talking about what you've got written on your card? You keep changing what you're focusing on, or are you just trying to fine tune the words? So let me know that, Crystal.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, where are you?
I'm right here.
Oh, there you are. Okay.
Okay. What I'm wondering is I can't seem to get down the exact verbiage that I want. Like it keeps, every day it's like, oh, I want to add that, or I need to take away that, or I want to, do you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Read it to me.
I don't have it on my body because I changed into my pajamas. It is,
girl.
It is. I have it memorized. Hold please. I am so happy and grateful that I have found the love of my life that loves me and adores me and treats me like the queen that I am.
What is not resonating with you? Hey, Maya, will you mute your phone? We were getting some feedback. I can't find you on my... There we go. Thank you.
for example, like sometimes I want to put like a man in there because I don't want it to be like, some best, some.
Oh, that it's a puppy? Okay, right, okay.
So I just, every day I keep like thinking, do I need to put in more specific stuff, or is that specific enough?
Well, I would put in there a man.
Okay.
Because you bring up a good point, like who loves me and cherishes me and treats me like the queen I am. You can get that in a golden retriever. And so who is the love of your life? So yeah, so I would put, like a spouse, or that I'm married to the love of my life, or in like partnership with the love of my life, like whatever that is, but it shows that you're in a committed relationship with a human. That is so funny. Your cat just walks across the screen. She's been
jumping up behind me and everything. It's been she's annoying me.
Speaking of love of my life, I'm here.
I need something different. Okay. That's what I needed. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. All right, Tiffany, you are up. Mark just joined like less than 2 hours ago. How do I find the modules? So Mark, you're going to get an email tonight. I'm having my VA get you in with the modules. So you'll get a welcome email that will say, click this link to go to the modules for the mentoring program. So it's going to get you to the membership site. You'll create a login and a password, and that's where all the modules are. Okay. So let me know if you don't have, if you didn't get an email. Oh, did I just mute myself? Crystal, I thought I was muting you. See, you don't have to be technologically savvy in order to have a really successful online business.
That just makes you human.
Right? So great. Yeah. Okay, you're up, darling.
Okay, sorry, I'm like in my bedroom hiding from my kids. I have 4 of them, so shh.
I love it. At least in the bathroom.
I know. Well, this is the next best. Okay, so I am so happy and grateful now that we live in a 4,000 square foot house on 5+ acres of land within the Mountain Crest boundaries. So my son's really into wrestling and they have an awesome program.
Okay.
And 1 water share per acre. And I was so excited because I found a house that had everything except for the water shares. That's why I added that just recently. Because my husband's like, why do we, if you can't water it, why do we have all this land? Because we have a small farm. So you need the water.
Yeah.
So that's why, and then I'm also the one that says it's hard to get on the same page, because it's our house and our land and our things.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of want, like he doesn't care about the house, but he would love the land, outbuildings, all this cool stuff around the house. And me, I'm like, but what about us? What about the kids? Like I want, to improve our situation in the house, and he's really focused on the outside. So that's why I'm trying to word it in a way that we would both be, excited about the improvement. But I feel just a little bit of drag from him. So I'm having a hard time being like, I don't know.
This is your goal. This is your goal. So pull your husband out of it.
But I need some of his money to help me.
No, you don't. He's not your source. He's not your source. He's a channel. He's not your source, though. So God's your source. Listen to the money call. Okay? Keep listening.
Can I skip forward to the money call because I'm on 3?
Yes.
Okay.
Watch that next, for sure.
Okay.
But it's not up to your husband. It's not. This is about leveraging universal laws and harnessing the power of your mind, not how can we butter up my husband so I can get what I want. Okay?
Yes.
Okay.
One more question. I think a hang up that I have, because I do have a little small house with a lot of kids and a lot of stuff. And I feel like maybe sometimes I don't deserve more because I'm not a better steward over what I already have. Do you know what I mean? That I'm not more organized or better at, so it's hard for me to think that I should have more. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. And that is going to totally sabotage you, because we're talking about worthy and deserving now. And so you're going to move that into your NEDs. You're going to create a new empowering decision around that when you get to that call. I think it's
new empowering decision.
Module 5. So what I want you to do is start practicing I want you to start
Okay.
practicing where you are right now, being a really great steward of your home that you have now. So I want you to pretend that it is your dream home. It is your 4,000 square foot home, and that you love your home, and how would you take care of that home? And so just start that with this. So did you say there's some clutter in your house?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just too many people in a small place. You know, that problem.
Right.
So.
Right. Okay. So you're going to pick like one little corner that you're going to declutter, because this is how we take care of our dream home. And we're going to clean this like it's our dream home, and we're going to express gratitude as if it's already our dream home. And we're so thankful for this amazing space. And even while you're like whacking a kid across the forehead, when you're like, look at all this space we have, you're just going to pretend, because your mind doesn't know the difference. And we've got to get you to where you can hold that bigger container. Because if you're already afraid that you can't hold that container, you're either not going to get your bigger house, or you're not going to be able to keep your bigger house. And we want you to keep your bigger house. We want you to grow into it. So I want you to think about this analogy. So if you've got a 3-year-old and you're like, let's go get an ice cream cone. And they're like, okay. So you go to the ice cream store and they give him a scoop of ice cream, and you're walking out of the store and he takes a lick and he drops that scoop of ice cream on the sidewalk. Do you then go say, you know what? Let's go back and get another ice cream, but this time we're going to get a triple scoop of ice cream for you. No, of course not. He couldn't even handle the single scoop. So he's got to grow into that. So now you're going to get a bowl, and you're going to get a scoop of ice cream. You're going to put it on the cone, then you put it upside down so the bowl can hold it, and you can eat it with a spoon and make a clown face out of it, and everybody's happy. And so I want you to think about it in that term as well. So this is your single scoop ice cream that you have right now. And so this is you saying, I can totally handle this single scoop of ice cream in this home. And as I show how responsible is not the word I want, but as I show what a great steward I am over this space that I already have, I'm just going to naturally grow into something that's 2 or 3 times this size.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let it be a game. Try it on. Experiment with it. Okay.
So I have like a vision board. Do you think I should put some of those neds up on my vision board, and maybe even on my card?
No, don't put the neds on your card. You need to record the neds and listen to them.
Oh.
Several times.
Like yourself saying them. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. That's
Yes,
funny.
so
I have a 3-year-old, so.
Oh, so you're like, oh yeah, I would never do that.
I'm all, yeah, I would never give him a cone.
Never. Nope. Never. Not in a million years. Not with a 3-year-old. So, yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Anything else?
Yeah, a lot of other things that I need help with, but not
Okay.
right now. I
You
mean,
got the floor.
one thing at a time.
Okay. Okay.
It's
Awesome.
okay. One thing at a time is good for me. So, but thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So listen to the money call, the money module, and practice being that good steward, but don't take the whole house on at once. Okay. That'll overwhelm you. So I want you to pick
It totally overwhelms me.
That's why I'm telling you this. I'm like, you're going to pick a small drawer. Let's pick the drawer. Let's make the bed. Something that can be really, really powerful is, all right, if I am the queen of a 4,000 square foot home and I want my palace to be organized and to be clean and to have a wonderful feeling in it and a lot of energy to it, that's really great energy. What is one small thing that I can do right now that's going to get me closer to that?
Mm-hmm.
And then just go quiet, and then inspiration will drop in, and it will be small. It will be like, make your bed. It will be wipe off your bathroom counter. It won't say, have you seen the kitchen lately? Maybe you should start there. Like, it won't do that. It will be something small that you can handle. Clean out this drawer, dust your nightstand. Like, and that will make you feel more and more empowered. You're like, yeah, I got this. What's something else I can do? Okay. But you make the decision and you commit to the decision. This is what I have. This is my life. Then you ask the intelligent questions. What's one thing I could do that will get me one step closer to what's written on my card?
I like that. Like,
it's baby
okay.
steps.
Yeah,
Baby steps
break
that
it
turn
down.
into quantum leaps very quickly.
Okay.
Okay? Is that helpful?
is awesome. Thank you so much.
You are welcome. Okay, I'm going to go to the queue because we've got some questions in here. I am so happy and grateful that I have found the man who is the love of my life and adores, loves, and treats me like the queen that I am. I like that. Do you like that better, Crystal? Amy Johnson, hi, darling. I haven't seen you yet. An app that I use and love is called Think Up, and I have recorded my NEDs and the daily affirmation and can use music in the background. Super helpful. So if you like that, yes, it's very, very powerful to have music in the background of that. Anne says, this is what I do for a living. I always suggest do the area first that hurts the most when you walk into the door, then add fresh flowers or something similar. Ooh, that's a really great idea. That's a great idea. Find a small space that hurts the most. There are times when I'm like, oh, this whole house is hurting me right now. So find a small space, baby step your way into Quantum Leap. So that is a fabulous idea, Anne. And Anne, you and, I'm sure everybody here would love some tips for like decluttering and organizing and have really great use of the space in their house. If you ever want to share your talent there, I see some people nodding like, yeah, that would be great. If you want to do that, you're totally welcome to do that. Okay, who's next? By the way, if you want to be coached, put it in the chat, and then I'll know, and then I can be like, whew. We got Kristen, we got Anne. Let's cover NEDs real fast. This is like the third person who's asked me, so we'll cover NEDs, then we'll do Kristen, then we'll do Anne. Okay, we good with that? Okay, so what is have you gotten to that module yet? Is my first question about the NEDs. Okay, so Candy's there. So what clarification do you need on, yeah, Shane, the NEDs are freaking amazing. They'll change your whole life. So what do you need clarification on, Candy?
I am just, I guess, what does it look like again?
Awesome. Yeah, I can walk you through.
So I have the limiting belief, the new empowering belief, and then the evidence that supports the new belief. That's the NED, correct?
Yes, that's
okay. So what does that look like?
Okay, so
do like a limiting belief, like I don't have enough money.
Yes. Okay. So if the limiting belief is I don't have enough money, then the new empowering decision is going to be just the opposite of I don't have enough money, which is I've got plenty of money. And then the evidence that supports that belief are the times where you had plenty of money. Now, if you've never had plenty of money or you've never had your needs met, I know every one of you have had your needs met though, but if you don't have evidence in your own life to support it, it counts to use somebody else as evidence. So, oh, my brother is super successful. So I used to run a belief that I wasn't successful in my business. So to change that belief and the evidence that supports it, I have brothers I've got a brother in the financial world. I've got a brother who's a millionaire businessman. And I'm like, oh my gosh, they're successful. It's in my genes. It's in my DNA. That means I can be successful too. And so it wasn't my evidence yet, but it was somebody else's evidence, because that literally is evidence. If somebody can do it, that means you can too. It's not that they're wired any differently. They don't have special magical powers that you don't have. If somebody else can do it, you can do it too. So if you've got a money thing, everybody has money beliefs. So I would hope that at least one of your NEDs is around money. And if you're wanting to make 10 grand a month, but you've never done that before, you guys, I do that. I make 16 grand a month. So like, oh, my mentor does it and I'm in her space, and that means if she can do it, I can do it too. And like, guys, remember how I like totally blew up my business last year because of my beliefs? All right. So if I can change it, you can definitely change it. All right. But the evidence needs to be compelling. You need to believe the evidence supports your new decision more than you believe that limiting belief. Okay?
So sometimes you may need to look for the evidence. Like you may need to go out and search for, okay.
Yes. And and NEDs will tip people off the boat a lot. And so if you're like, I can't find the evidence, or here's my belief, put it in the group and I can coach you through it. I can help you find evidence. But I need to know what the belief is, and I need to know what evidence you have found so far, because what people will do is they'll put in affirmations instead of evidence. All right? We can't be running affirmations.
That's probably what I was thinking it was. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're not affirmations. It's evidence that supports this new belief. that you have. Because if we have a belief that I'm not enough, there we can find evidence to support that. Oh, remember when I tried that and failed, and remember when I didn't get that, and that I'm not enough there. So we can find evidence that will support any belief that we have. So we've got to find the evidence that supports the new decision. This is literally like this, and the beautiful states versus suffering states changes everything. These are pivotal, critical pieces to you creating what's on your goal card in your hands. All right, so we've got to make sure that we've got the NEDs nailed. Now, interesting thing with the NEDs, make sure they're not affirmations. They've got to be evidence. It does not have to be your own personal experience of evidence. And do not record the limiting belief. All right, you've written down the limiting belief because now we know what we're working with. We're going to flip it on its side so that we can get the opposite of it. But when you record it, you start by saying, my new empowering decision is I have plenty of money. The evidence that supports this is I've had plenty of money in the past. My family members have plenty of money. I have friends who've got plenty of money. Whenever I get paid, I have plenty of money to pay my bills. My mentor has plenty of money. So stuff like that. And then my second new empowering decision is this. All right? Does that make sense? Now,
Yep.
Here's a little caution about the NEDs. As you grow, your NEDs will stop resonating. So you'll be like, oh, I need to change that up just a little bit because that is falling a little bit flat. So it's perfectly fine to do that. Chris will ask, can we have as many NEDs as we want? No, 5. Only 5 at a time. 6 on the very outside, but I don't want you starting with 6. I want you starting with 5. All right? You've got it. It's the same thing with the goal card. Can I have 14 things I focus on at once? No, we got to focus on one thing. So we're going to change 5 beliefs at a time. You can swap them out when you've got different results, and you'll feel it. Your thoughts will change, your emotions around that will change, and your results will then change. Then you're like, dang, I got that one done. All right, let's move in another one. NEDs are new empowering decisions. That's how we're changing our programs. That's what we're gonna run. This is literally the new program we're going to run that's going to change everything for you. Some of you are going to get all perfectionist on me. Oh, my NED's not quite right. I haven't recorded it yet. I've written it down 48 times. I want you to write this down. Perfectionism is for poor people. Perfectionism is for poor people. You are not a poor person. You are wealthy beyond your imagination. Let go of perfectionism. Let them be where they are. Let it be good enough. I just want the program to start running. I had clients that were waiting for 3 and 4 weeks before they'd run their NEDs. I'm like, you guys, like, you're missing the most important part. Let it be perfect in its imperfection. Let it be flawed. As you grow, your NEDs are going to change. You're going to find more evidence. You're going to be like, oh, I need to remind myself of that evidence. I'm going to re-record it. All right? Your NED should not be any longer than 3 or 4 minutes. Okay, so if you've got a 12-minute long NED, it's too long. All right, because I want you listening to them 3 times a day minimum. In the morning, afternoon, when you're getting ready for bed. All right, and if you're really bumping up against it, I want you to listen to them 5 times a day. Okay, yes, NEDs are explained in the Beliefs Are Decisions module. So yes, I go into total detail about what the NEDs do. But I want you watching the modules in order though. Okay, Susan and Mark and everybody else who wasn't quite to NEDs yet. It's so powerful, but I don't want you skipping around. The modules build on each other with the exception of the money module. Okay, that one you can watch at any time. All right, Candy, did I get that answered for you? Module 4 is the NEDs. Thank you, Mary. You're so awesome to keep this in. I have them written down, and then my numbers got all skewed. So I'm like, So thank you, Mary, for putting us back on the rails. It's module number 4 that are the NEDs. Yes, Susan, be patient. They're coming. They're coming. If you want to do 2 NEDs, you want to do 2 modules a week, you can, and you'll get to it faster. But they're so powerful. All right, so if you are bumping up against evidence or any of that, you've got to put it in the Facebook group. I don't want you spinning your wheels on this, okay? Fair? Great. Anything else? with the Neds, Candy? Or did I answer your questions? Great. Thank you, darling. All right, Mary says, I just listened to it. Thanks for expanding and explaining. You are welcome. This is the juice, guys. It's the crux of everything. It's so amazing. Okay, Kristen, you're up, beautiful.
Okay. So my question is, first of all, I've been through module 1 and module 2, just so you know where I'm at.
Okay.
And my question is my goal has to do with a ranking in my company.
Mm-hmm.
And so the thing I'm having a difficulty with is that my mentors are saying that if I don't purchase a portion of product each month, then I will never succeed in the company. And I don't,
Okay.
yeah. And I think, okay, so for those of you, other people, I'm a health coach, and I feel like my skills and the things that I'm working on are so spot on, and that it's not about the product per se, but it's about my coaching. And so I heard it again today on one of our training calls, and I thought, I am having a hard time getting past that because, first of all, I don't agree. And second of all, this is somebody who's very high in the company, and they're a mentor. So now I've got to figure out where to go with that.
Awesome. Let me tell you where you go with that. That's her truth. It does not have to be yours. So
Okay.
instead of bumping up against it and being like, that is wrong, no, that's totally right for her. She is absolutely congruent with that belief. You're not. You don't have to be. Unless it has somewhere in the bylaws where you have to be purchasing of your own self X amount of products in order to make different ranks. If it's not in the bylaws, then that's not the case. It does not have to be the case for you.
Okay. So that's really good because I've never felt like it should be.
Mm-hmm.
And even though it's been said several times, and I'm learning how to distinguish the differences between what my beliefs are and someone else's beliefs, because this is really my own business, even though I work for a company. And so I've learned to detach some of that, because some other things that have been said, I'm like, that doesn't really resonate with me. You know, I know that you are way up here and you've done this and you know what it takes to get to the top, but I still feel like I should have confidence in myself that I know what will happen, that God's going to provide that for me and that I will be able to succeed because I do have the skills. I have what it takes to help my clients and to, you know, even though I know I don't have all the skills, I know I'm constantly working on those skills. And I just wanted some kind of thought on that.
Yeah.
So thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So let me give you a really quick story to drive the point home. So my husband, his name is Jeremy, and he works for the family business. Both of us are working for the family business. We're working to phase me out right now. And his mother is the one who owns it. And his mom talks all the time about how hard everything is. Oh, the hard thing about this is this. Oh, that's really hard to do that. It's so hard to find good help these days. This is a really difficult thing. And my husband was saying it one day, this is a couple of years ago, and I said, do you realize how often you say how things are hard? And they're really not. I don't think you even realize what you're saying, but you're declaring how hard everything is, and everything's really hard. And I'm like, and that's totally fine. I'm like, I'm not judging it at all. I just want to point out that you talk an awful lot about how hard everything is. That's when he realized that's what his mom says all the time. And so as I've been in the company, I'm like, yeah, she talks about how hard everything is all the time. And that is her truth. She experiences frustration all the time. And I'm like, you know what? I'd rather not experience that. I'd rather have things be easy and quick and flow. And so that's what I'm going to believe. I'm not going to make you wrong for believing that everything is hard and continuing to declare it. You don't know what you're doing, and that's okay. So I'm not going to, go all judgy and preachy on you, but I don't want that to be my truth. I don't want that to be my experience. So I'm just going to choose this over here. And then it's not going to trigger you. so much, because there's a part of you that believes if you don't do exactly what she does, you won't be successful. And so to the extent that she is. So I want you, and I want you to take this where she's at the top. Can you see me do this? I want you to flip it to this. I'm right here and she's here at this mile marker here. She's not above me. She's just a little farther down the road of me. And so this has been her experience. And so she's mentoring based on her experience. And some of it is very valuable for me, but not all of it is. And I'm going to get there and beyond, but I'm going to do it on my terms. And I don't think I have to buy $8 million worth of product every month in order to rank up. Does that help?
Yeah, totally. And I love that, because there have been times that I've thought in my mind, you know, these people, however much money they make, which is, you know, some of them are really making a lot of money, they are no different than I am. They're just far, like you said, farther down that road. And I'm glad that I had those little inner thoughts that tell me this person's just like you are. And sometimes when I hear them say things or hear them do trainings or watch them, you know, in group meetings, I'm like, I can do that. I can do that. Like, I don't think there's anything special about that, even though we have different, like I would get up there and offer something probably different that's unique to me, you know, if I'm training or teaching. But it's a reassurance to me, like, look, you're your own person. You can bring it from within to be able to teach others. And people are going to find you based on your own skill, not someone else's.
Yeah. Yeah, and think about how much relief you're going to bring to the leaders that are coming behind you when you're like, oh, I created that differently. So success gets to look differently based on what your beliefs are and what you want to experience. So I think you're going to bring a lot of relief to people following behind you. So Mark says, a good plan violently executed now is better than a perfect plan next week. George Patton. So true. It's the law of the freeway. I don't know what the law of the freeway is. I know a lot of laws. I haven't learned the law of the freeway. So always someone in front, always behind you. Oh, thank you. Yes, this is true. Thank you, Susan. Anything else I can help you with tonight, Kristen?
Not in the moment, but
Okay.
I'm sure there's plenty along the way. So I'll just listen to someone else.
Great, great. It's what we're all here for. Oh, this is so juicy. You guys are amazing. All right, Anne, are you still on?
Yes, I am.
There you are.
Hi.
Hello.
So I'm doing the beautiful states, and I guess that's where I struggle the most.
Okay.
Physically, I have a lot of pain resulting from work, so it's very difficult to get through my day and to keep a positive attitude. And I need help figuring out how to keep that positive attitude throughout work and throughout my day at home.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you so much. The beautiful states versus the suffering states is so expansive for me in my mind. Like it was, oh, that's what I've got to do. That's why it's so important that we feel good, because everything we want is in a beautiful state and nothing we want is in a suffering state. But most of us are taught to be in a suffering state. And when you have physical pain, it can be difficult to get out of the suffering state and into the beautiful state. So first, what I want you to do is chunk it down so that you're in 5 or 10 minute increments and not, I gotta stay in a beautiful state all day and how am I gonna get through this day? Okay, so we're gonna take nice little baby steps, which will then quantum leap us into a beautiful state. Now, I don't deal with chronic pain, and so I'm very, very grateful for that. But I've been sick and I've been in pain for, you know, periods of time, and so I can understand a bit of you know, illness and things like that. And so when I have been in that state where my body is not physically where I want it to be, and I'm in pain or I'm in massive discomfort, some things that I have done to help me focus on what it is I want is I'll focus on things that don't hurt in my body. So if I've got the flu, but my nose doesn't hurt, I'll think about that. Okay, my nose doesn't hurt. I'm really grateful my nose doesn't hurt, and my hair doesn't hurt, and that doesn't hurt. And then like my knuckle will hurt really bad. And I'm like, okay, but my elbow doesn't hurt. And so I'm really grateful for that. And so I'll kind of talk myself through what is feeling okay in the moment, so that you can spiral up instead of continue to spiral down. So remember, the spiral will go both ways. And so sometimes when we're spiraling, so the interesting thing about the spiral is that it's a circle. So we kind of feel like, oh man, I've circled back to this, except we're circling up. And so if you're like, oh, but my body is still hurting, like my hands are hurting so badly, I can't do 35 sentences, but I can do 3. And so I'm going to do 3, and I'm so grateful that I can do 3. And then a little while later, I'm going to do 2 more, and I'm going to be so grateful that I can do that. And so I think a really powerful game for you and to play is what's working for me right now. And so that helps me get out of a suffering state and into a beautiful state when I am like plunging headfirst off the cliff into despair. Okay. And so
when I was driving after work home, I was thinking I hurt, and I'm like, well, I guess I'm alive. That means I'm alive.
Yeah. I would stand out in the cold. I got a part-time job as a crossing guard when we had no money, so we can get some money coming in, and it was bitterly cold. And I was like, okay, what's warm on me right now? My toes are warm. Oh my word. Okay, my toes are warm. And I would say, yeah, oh, I'm experiencing contrast. That helped me a ton. So when you're hurting, oh, this is part of contrast. So this is my body experiencing pain, so that I can feel even more joy when my body is experiencing some peace and some calm and some relief. So this is what it's like to experience contrast. Okay, I'm good with contrast. I can do contrast. This is all right. This means I'm alive. I'm in a body. I'm really grateful for what is working in my body right now. So this is great. I can see, my eyes are working. And so that's wonderful to remind yourself you're alive and you're experiencing contrast, and you can do that. That's what this life is all about. Play the what's working for me right now game. And that's where you take what's in your immediate environment that's working for you. So even if you're in lots of pain, you can be like, you know what, like I just said, my eyes, I can see ahead of me, my eyes are working. So that's working for me right now. I'm in a car and I'm stopped, which means the brakes are working. I haven't rammed into another car. The brakes are working for me right now. I can turn on the air conditioning, and the air conditioning, that's working for me right now. And that is going to help you very, very quickly actually get into a beautiful state. Now, the object of this game is to be as dumb and as stupid and as insignificant things as you can find that are working for you. Too many times we try to make the leap to gratitude, and then we don't feel grateful. We actually just feel more guilty. I should feel grateful because I am alive, but this body is just the pits right now. And so then we should all over ourselves, and we just make ourselves feel worse. And so I want you to find tiny, tiny little things like I'm on a cushion. I'm on a cushion, so my butt's comfortable. That's working for me right now. I can roll up and roll down the window, and that's working for me. What it's actually going to do is increase your trust in the universe, that the universe is mathematically orchestrated to support you in every moment of your life. Whether your body is on fire with pain, or whether you're in massive amounts of relief, or if you've got a bill due and you have no idea how you're going to pay it, when you can play the what's working for me right now game, it gets you stable really fast.
Okay.
And it increases your faith and your trust. All right?
Works.
So,
Okay.
so let me know. I want you to put in the group how that works, how that's working for you. Okay.
All right.
Kristen asks, isn't pain in our body related to an emotion? Does she need to define the emotion? Yes.
Oh.
Your body. Yes. Yes, always. Pain in your body is trapped energy. And you guys, I'm an energy worker. I have my own method. It's called energetic connection. So if you're coming up with stuff like this and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't I can't get out of this, or my hip is hurting so bad, post in the group. Let me clear the energy for you. I mean, I kind of do that for you guys all the time anyway, but I would love to know, I would love for you to know that that's what I do for you. I think it's more effective when you know, holy cow, somebody's working on my energy. And so if you feel yourself taking random deep breaths out of nowhere, that's me. So, and that's me saying, I love you, and I've got you, and everything's good, and everything's okay. You know, and along those lines, really quickly, I have all of your names on a great big poster in my bedroom. And I look at your names all the time. And I think about those of you that I know what you're working towards. I think about how excited I am to see you achieve that, and how honored I feel to work with you, and how amazing you are as people. And then I'm so thankful to be in your space, and I'm glad that you're in mine. And so just know that in those moments where you feel like nobody cares and nobody knows what's going on and nobody even knows who you are, I do. I see you every single day. And I send love and confidence and certainty to you every single day.
Oh,
all right?
thank you.
You're not alone in this. All right? You're welcome. You're welcome. I do look at all of you. Kristen has a bone spur. Looking for help there. I don't want surgery. Okay, awesome. Take a breath. There's a really cool book. Louise Hay has a book about emotions, and Carol Truman has a book called Feelings Buried Alive Never Die. And she has this really cool little flip chart. She's got a reference chart that has those different things on there, like, oh, if you've got a pain in your right knee, it means authority and stubbornness and like whatever. So I don't know what bone spurs are, Kristen, but I have the reference guide, and so I'll look it up. I'll bet Shane knows what it is. I'll look it up, and then I'll put it in the group and just let you know, oh, does this resonate with you? Because there's always an emotion, and there's always stuck energy when we're feeling pain in different places of our body. So yeah, that's awesome. Cool. Yeah. Okay. Refer to those. Refer to this. Oh, heal your body. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. I couldn't remember what that was. And Feelings Buried Alive Never Die. Carol Schumann. Yeah. All right. Anything else coming up for you, Miss Ann?
No, it's starting to feel a little bit overwhelming, all the stuff coming at me with this. But as you've worked your program, we can slow it down if we need to. So.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Overwhelm is a suffering state. So I don't want anybody in overwhelm, because you can't create what you want from overwhelm. All right. So if you're like, today, what I'm going to focus on is 10 times I'm going to look at my goal card, and I'm just going to breathe when I look at it. And I'm going to smile when I look at it. I'm going to pretend that it's real. And that's what I can do today. Okay. If you will do that, and awareness with zero judgment, that will help you so much. Okay, so yeah, I don't want anybody in overwhelm, because I know what that means. All right, so take it at your own pace. Nobody is behind. You are not behind. Oh, Jill says in the reference, guys, it says spur, a buildup of resentment. Does that resonate? Maybe it does. Tiffany has Crohn's. Is that trapped emotions? Yes. Kelly says, since starting this program the last 2 weeks, my neck and shoulder have been killing me. So that's interesting. Yeah, look at all this stuff that we're stirring up, you guys. It's awesome. It's awesome. Let's move that. And let's see what that is, what it's all about. Okay, so did we get you this time? Do you feel complete, Anne?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, fabulous. Thank you. Okay, who's next? We're in a safe space. Mary says, I love the awareness with zero guilt. It helps me to move on without feeling guilty for falling behind. Yeah, there's no such thing. There's no such thing as falling behind. You're exactly where you need to be. And do you know how I know that? It's because that's where you are. Where you're supposed to be is right where you are. So yeah, we don't have room for guilt. We don't have time for it. We don't have time for guilt. We don't have time for self-flagellation. We don't have, that's not flatulation. Flagellation.
Yeah.
Don't beat yourself up. We don't have time for that.
What I'm hoping is that they came and saw them still sitting there.
All right,
Because I was driving away this morning, I saw them, and I thought, okay, I'll grab them when I get home, and they aren't there.
Hear you on the phone.
I'm hoping they came.
I'm gonna mute everybody right now. There we go. Okay. I didn't want to be like, everybody's listening to our conversation. Okay, was it Crystal not muted? Okay, well, she is now. Okay, who else would like to go? Does somebody else have a question? Like, I'm just getting going, you guys. Let's see. Oh, sorry. Shane says, is this true? Beautiful state alone brings the goal faster and easier. That's the key. The key is to stay in a beautiful state and run new programs. So yes, when you are in a beautiful state, it will bring the goal faster and faster and easier, but we've got to make sure that you're running the right programs and the right beliefs that are going to get you right to your goal. So those two modules, the beautiful state and the power of decisions, are the crux of everything. So yes, super, super cool. Does anybody else have a question or a comment? Susan, you go next by putting it in the queue and saying, how do I go next? I'm going to unmute you. Maybe. There you are.
Can you see me now?
Yes. Hello.
Hello.
Shelley, you're after Susan.
Okay, so I've been like way excited and just going, and I have a good morning routine, and I've been doing my own morning routine like it's been an alignment morning routine. I just get really aligned with me and God and just feeling deeply about a lot of things. And then all of a sudden yesterday and today, I just feel like I have literally crashed. And I am just like, I've dug as deep as I can today. And I'm like, what is going on?
How far in the modules are you?
I just finished number 2 today.
Number 2.
Yeah.
Okay, so you definitely want to do beautiful states versus suffering states. That one should be next.
Yeah. 3, okay.
Uh-huh. And so what you're experiencing is contrast. And so there are times when we're in this really, really high energy, and it's not even necessarily that we're manic about things, but it's like, oh my gosh, I don't even need to sleep. I feel amazing, but we live in a world of contrast. And so it's very difficult to hold that level of energy consistently. That's why, boom, you have the crash. A lot of times when we hit a goal, we go into a slump after we've hit, like, especially a really big goal, because we've had so much energy behind it. And then it's kind of this letting go, and then we crash. So I don't want you to panic about that. It's part of being on this planet. What I don't want you going through is like down, 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 down more. So,
yeah.
So we just want to stop that. So tell me the thoughts that have come up today. Was it today the crash, or was it yesterday the crash?
It started yesterday.
Okay.
And I tried to power back up today by doing my alignment pad and all this kind of stuff. And I got up, I celebrated my goal this morning because I stand in front of my mirror, I repeat my goal, and I cheered for it. And I just said, like, this is what I'm going to do with this money as it comes into my bank account. So went a lot deeper, like really explained more, defined more.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was just like right after that, it was just like, and I don't know. I know I have a lot of things ending in my life and finishing up, and I've got a boost to new or open doors. And I don't know, maybe I'm just exhausted.
Okay, yes, that's coming into it. What were the thoughts that made you crash?
I'm not really worth this. I don't know that I can really do it after all.
So there's the beliefs. Do you see that? What a beautiful example of the program that Rain that is running to pull you down. That's how powerful the programs are. And we can hype ourselves up for a temporary amount of time, but those programs that are running will pull us right back to where we were. And then we're discouraged. Like, I could feel that. I felt that in your throat. I felt that in your nose. Like, oh, I can't actually do this. And so I'm just totally kidding myself, and nothing's actually going to change. And so, awesome. Like, yay, you already found the NED. You already found the limiting beliefs that you get to shift. and we get to change and run new programs, so that as you're doing that, you're not having this argument. Okay, so in the meantime, there's a couple of things that you can do, because you are wrapping up quite some heavy, intense energy from the past little while, and that takes a toll on your body. So you get to go into some massive self-love and self-care. So you get to do a little bit of the slowdown right now. So if you like taking bubble baths, you're going to take a bubble bath. If you just want to sit for just a minute and be like, you know, we're just going to sit. Let's just do that. This is whatever it feels like that you're taking care of your body. That's what I want you to do. But it's not, I'm going to take care of my body by running 3 miles. All right. So it's the slow down. We're actually going to get you more into the feminine, more into the flow, and just more into like, let's just get the energy moving around us in a better way again. And I'm just going to go to love. Maybe it's, I got to go to bed early, or I'm going to take a nap, or reading a great book, putting on some music, and just letting the music wash over you. I'm trying to think of the things that I do. I love to put oils on my body. And so I'll put oils on, or I'll diffuse oils in the air, and I'll turn on some music that I really love. And just like, I'm just gonna let myself feel my body right now. I'm just gonna lie here and just appreciate all of these beautiful endings that are leading into incredible new beginnings. And so I want you to focus more on the beginning that's happening while you're doing the wrap up. And you don't need to bust through any doors, hun. You're just gonna keep walking confidently forward. This is a whole new chapter and a whole new book and an entire new series that you're starting. It's an exciting, wonderful time. And especially with this, where you're changing your programs, like, oh my gosh, you're gonna learn how to be freaking unstoppable and create anything you want without exception. So awareness with no judgment, but there does need to be that slowdown time. I want you to think about a dance. There are times in the dance where we go backwards, but it's part of the dance. There are times during the dance where we're doing super fancy footwork and we're going from this corner of the floor clear to that corner of the floor. And there are times in the dance where the footwork is very simple, because we got to catch our breath. So there's simple footwork, there's more, flowing things, it's more still, and then we prepare ourselves for the next beautiful leap that we're going to take. Okay, it's all part of the dance. And the whole point of the dance is the dance. It's not to end at that point, right? Like the whole point of the symphony is not one note and then you're done. It's the whole succession of the notes, and it's the silence between the notes so that we can hear the distinction. All right, you're in a moment of the silence between the notes. Let yourself be there and let it be okay. And sometimes when we're in a suffering state and we have a very difficult time pulling out of it, it's because we're in resistance and we're making the suffering state wrong. I shouldn't feel this way. Allison's told me that I can't get what I want when I'm in a suffering state. But sometimes you got to be like, but we're here. And I'm not going to deny that my body is experiencing this emotion right now. So I choose not to wallow in the emotion. I choose not to make the emotion bigger. But you know what? I'm going to give it permission to be here right now. And that's a really interesting thing about emotion, is that they want to move up and out. It's same with joy, it's same with happiness, as it is with depression, as it is with despair. It wants to move up and out. So we give it that permission to be here as long as it takes about 90 seconds to get it up and out. Now that it's got permission, and oh, I feel you right here in my rib. Or oh, I feel you right here as a lump in my throat. Oh, okay, it's all right. Oh, my nose is tingling. I've got some grief in my nose. Okay. That's fine. Hang out as long as you need, but I'm not gonna push you down any longer. And then it's just kind of like, and then it goes. Okay, so just give it room and just accept what is right now. Don't resist it, because then you start violating lots of natural law, which you're going to learn in some later modules. So just know that, just get into a place of acceptance, and it's okay. And then it'll pass really quickly, and then you won't feel like you have to jack yourself up to get into this high state of vibration again. It will just naturally raise for you.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you.
Help?
Yes, it does. I feel like I've been needing to cry and just like release, because I do feel it all up kind of in my vocal and my chest area. And I can't seem to cry. Like, it sounds like I need to, and like I want to. And it's like, okay, let's get this out. But I just can't cry.
Has it been that way for a long time that you can't cry?
Yeah, probably about 2 years.
Okay, so let it be okay. Let it be okay that it's sitting right here and it's not expressing fully quite yet. It has not been safe for a very long time for you to cry or for you to express that kind of emotion. And so just let it be okay that it's hanging in your throat, it's hanging in your mask of your face, like let that be okay. And then it'll either dissipate in a different way or it will come out as tears. But either way, it's exactly where it needs to be. Just give it permission to be there and like, you know, it's safe. It's safe to cry. It's safe to mourn. It's safe to be in some grief. It's okay. It's okay. We'll let that happen. And then you might cry a little bit and it might not at all.
I just get fearful that it's going to come out in the most inopportune time. I don't want to go there.
Oh, interesting. So we're putting conditions on it. So that's really interesting.
I know.
It's not right. No, I totally get it though. I totally get it. And so when I have been in that situation before, this is what I have told the grief. I hear you, I see you, I know that you're here, and I honor you. This is not the appropriate time where I can express it fully to honor you. And so I promise that later on today, when I can get into this situation or when we can have a little bit of alone time, that you can express as much as we want. I promise I'm not shoving you down again, but this right here is not the place where we can let this happen. And usually the grief is pretty respectful. It's that point where like you've shoved it so much that the grief is like, yeah, so your head's gonna blow up unless we come out. And so there's nothing you can do. You're just gonna cry. And cry and cry and cry. And that's why we hate grief so much, because it comes at us in waves and it overwhelms us and it is so draining to us. But it's because we're like these pressure cookers. We're like the Instant Pots, and we only let a tiny bit of pressure out a tiny bit at a time so that we don't blow our heads off, but we don't let the grief out. And so there are times where it's just like, well, it's coming and there's nothing you can do about it. But if you'll just like give it that space, then it will come, and it will come quickly. And it won't be a horrible experience. It will be so cleansing and actually a really beautiful experience. And something else that you can do when you feel it coming up and like you really can't go into it right now, play What's Working for Me Now. I've done that to talk myself off of the edge of hysteria and crying before. It's very, very effective.
Yeah, I have felt that. Like I've been doing 3 of those a day, and just like I just write down 3 things that is working for me, and I feel like it's kept me in gratitude, and it's kept me from like the doom and gloom, you know.
Yep.
And so
literally
I definitely love doing that.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah. It's so easy, so simple, so fast. So fast. I can feel a difference within a second when I do it. So yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Anything else, darling?
I don't think so. Thank you.
You're welcome. You are welcome. All right, Miss Shelley, you're up. And I'm seeing that people are answering questions here on the chat. So that is awesome about throat chakras and things like that. So thank you, you guys. You're amazing. Okay, Shelley.
Okay, so I had to pull up. I'm still working on my goal.
Yep, that's totally fine.
And part of it, honestly, is the whole it's not perfect. And so
perfect is for poor people. Stop it.
I am working on that. So we had a conversation going this week, and do you want me to reread what I have?
Yes, please.
I said, I am so grateful and happy now that I have found my inner strength, connected with my power center, and trust myself to follow through. And you asked, what does it look like? And I don't know. and I know you're going to tell me I know. But I bringing words to that. I'm really struggling with that. So to define this goal and how I know and how to measure it, I'm kind of at loss.
Okay, awesome. So that's what I'm here for, to help coach you through that. So read it again for everybody so I can.
Okay. I am so grateful and happy now that I have found my inner strength, connected with my power center, and trust myself to follow through.
Okay, so these are all really beautiful things, but we need to know when you've hit them.
Right.
That's why we need to put a picture with them. And so that's why, so I had a client who was working on self-worth. And so her goal was, I have self-worth. And I said, that's a magnificent goal to have, is that you've got this, you find value in yourself now, but we have to know when we've hit it. So what does it look like? How do you know that you've got more self-worth? And she said, oh, well, I guess it's when I stop apologizing for what things that I'm asking for. And then I speak up without apologizing. And I'm like, booyah, perfect. Because then we know we've hit it. So we know that when you're asking for something without being like, oh, I'm so sorry to put you out, can I just have this? And you're just asking for it because that's what you want, then we're going to tie that to, oh, that means I've got self-worth. Okay, so that's what I want you to do with this too. Like, that's a beautiful goal that you have, and I don't want you to change those things on your goal card, but we do want to put a picture with what does inner strength look like. How do you know when you've hit that? Oh, it means I hold boundaries really well, which means my kids don't walk all over me. Like, it means I discipline my children. Like, maybe that's what that means. Tell me what's after inner strength.
Connecting with my power center.
Okay, so connecting with your power center. So what does that look like if you've connected with your power center?
Confidence, but see, that doesn't seem to give me what does that really look like? I know what it feels like.
Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. I think connecting with your power center is confidence. So if you're going to show up in a situation with confidence, then how do you show up? Like, is your back straight? Is your head up? Are you looking somebody in the eye? Are you slumped? Are you like what does that look like if you're in confidence in a situation?
Well, I'm just not ashamed of who I am. So yeah, you're standing tall. You're, like I said, confident keeps coming to my mind.
Yeah.
But standing tall, feeling grounded. Again, I'm getting feelings, but no.
And that's fine. But okay. So when you're feeling grounded, then what's the posture when you're feeling grounded?
Rooted. I don't know. It's steadfast, firm, like tall, straight.
Okay, awesome. Because you can practice that. You can practice that right now. You can sit up straight in your chair and be like, this is me when I've connected to my power center.
Okay.
This is how it feels. This is me when I'm grounded. This is me confident.
Okay.
Yeah. Because the subconscious works with two things, images and emotions.
Right.
So if you're like, I'm having a hard time with the image, but I've got the emotion. If you have to choose between one or the other, I want you to go with the emotion. But ideally, we're going to connect the two, and we're going to make it really, really simple. Okay, so you've connected with your power center, means that you're sitting up straight and your feet are planted, you've got a nice wide base when you're talking to somebody and you're looking them in the eye because you're confident. Okay, tell me the third one.
Trust myself to follow through.
Okay, so what does that look like?
I don't talk myself out of things. I know daily situations come up and sometimes you don't get to your to-do list, but I want to regularly accomplish tasks that need to be done or that I desire to be done, not need. Things that I feel will improve my family and improve me and my relationships, Give me,
for instance, on one of those things for the day. Like, what did you want to get done today that you didn't get done? Or what did you want to get done today that you did get done?
Okay, so one thing I wanted to get done today that I didn't get done is I've actually been doing that addiction recovery program, and I wanted to work on the step I'm on.
Okay.
And that didn't get done. I hit the snooze button instead.
Okay. So perhaps what it is then is, if we're going to baby step our way into victory, which is what we're going to do, is I hit the snooze button twice instead of 3 times. So go me. So this is part of me trusting that I'm going to follow through. And guess what? Like, the day's not done yet. It's only 8:45 where you are. You can even take a 10-minute chunk and be like, I can't get this whole step done, but I am going to get 10 minutes of this done because I keep my promises to myself, because I have great inner strength and I'm worth it and I'm confident. And this is what confident people do who love themselves and take care of themselves. And it's just for 10 minutes. If 10 minutes is too much, it's 3 minutes.
Right. Okay.
But it's just the fact that I did it. It's like, I don't remember if I told this to you or if I told this on some other call, but it's like we have these really grand ideas. All of us do. Like, you're not the only person that hits the snooze and doesn't do their meditation or whatever, right? Like,
right.
I wanted to like, I'm going to read scriptures every day. And I was like, okay, how can I guarantee my success? Well, if I read for 2 seconds, then I will guarantee my success, because I can absolutely open up something and spend 2 seconds reading. Boom, I'm done. And there were times where I literally did that and I counted it a victory. But more often than not, I found like, oh, I can actually read a whole verse. I can read a page today. Or I can stop when I find something that jumps at me and be like, oh, I found it. That's what God wants me to know today. Thank you. That was fast. All right, but I didn't wrong myself or shame myself. I made it really, really easy to succeed.
Okay.
All right, by letting it be tiny little chunks.
Okay.
Okay.
So in my goal, do I need to add words, or as I read that goal, visualize those things that we just talked about?
Visualize those things that you just talked about.
Okay.
We didn't talk about inner strength. So what does it look like if you're showing up with inner strength?
So it looks like being in a beautiful state. Bringing, choosing, and instead of allowing to be in that despair, choosing to bring myself back to the beautiful state and no longer be a victim.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And we all know how difficult that can be in the moment.
Right. Absolutely.
There's so much power in being powerless, isn't there? If it's not my fault, then I don't have to do anything. And yet there's this part of us going, well, why are we here again? Like seriously.
Exactly.
Why are we here again? And so so I want you to treat your goal card, I want you to do it twofold. I want this to be your mantra. I'm so happy and grateful now that I live in my inner strength. Read it again like a mantra.
I am so grateful and happy now that I have found my inner strength, connected with my power center, and trust myself to follow through.
Oh, it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful because now you get to make the decision. Like, that's who I am. It's not something that you want. It's not something that you desire. You must, because where you have been is no longer acceptable. It is intolerable because it's just a disaster, and you know you've been there, and you know what you create when you're there, and you are so much more intelligent than that. And so you choose that is done. That is done. No matter what the evidence to support that you can't be done there yet, like, that's all a lie. We're done. So if I'm the woman who is so happy and grateful now that I'm living in my inner strength, and I'm all of those things, when those things will crop up, and it's not an if, it's a when, you've made the decision, but I don't go into victim anymore. I get into a beautiful state because I live in my inner strength. Because I am connected to my power source. So even though, or I'm connected to my power. So even though those things will come up and give you that option, especially at the very beginning, you can talk yourself through it and be like, oh, but I've already decided that I'm that. And that person doesn't go there. Instead, we go to a beautiful state. And so that's what we're going to do. Oh, instead, we go to step 12 of the addiction recovery program, and we work on that for a little while. Oh, I hold strong boundaries with my children and say no, and you can have that as soon as this room is clean. Like, whatever that looks like.
Right.
This is actually how I did on my weight release journey. At the very beginning, I started that mantra that I eat clean and that I weigh 125 pounds. And then when my voice would come up and my body would be like, oh, we really love peanut butter and chocolate. And you really should have that right now. And then I was like, but that's not eating clean. And I've decided that I eat clean. And so I'm not going to eat that. And my body was like, fine. So it gave me a little bit of pushback to that, but I literally I remember talking myself through that because that was the decision I'd made. And so that's all it is. That's all it is for Shelly. It's all it is for Teresa. It's all it is for all of you. It's that decision, and it's committing to that decision. Now your brain is going to be like, but it's so hard and we're so tired, and how are we going to do this? And you know your addictions, and you know what you struggle with, and you know you've tried this in the past, but I don't care how I'm doing it. I don't know. I don't care. All I know is that's who I am. And that's who I choose. And it's a must. It's no longer like this thing I really like. I must have this. I must be this person. This is who I am. That's who I choose.
Okay.
And then like, hun, the seas will part. I promise. The depression seas will part. The addiction seas, they must part for you. When you stand with authority, when you stand with that command, like when you're grounded and you're confident and those thoughts swirl up, and I've done this and I have said, enough. I will not listen to this for one moment longer. And they slunk away like the cowards that those thoughts really are. And then you're like, yes, I won that round. And sometimes they just beat you to a pulp. Sometimes they do. Like, you guys, there's going to be times when you're like, this day was a wash, and yet you made it through the day. And maybe you just got in the group and said, oh, this day was a wash. And I'd be like, oh, but you let us share this with you. That's a victory. Thank you for not doing it completely alone. And thanks for doing it. Do you know how many people are taking themselves out and they don't even finish the day? Like, you're not that person. Like, oh, we get to celebrate absolutely everything. I'll celebrate when I had 6 cookies because I didn't have 7. Right? Well, back in the day, I used to do that.
Right.
Instead of hating on myself.
Okay.
Is this helpful?
Yes. Yep.
Does it make it doable? Because I know that you've had that overwhelm, like, I don't even know where to start. So is it making it easier to eat?
Yep.
Awesome. Awesome. Remember, perfectionism is for poor people. And
right.
And this is what Kristen said. She said, that's amazing, Shelly. Your use of words is so telling of your determination and strength. Look at that. We feel it. We feel it from you. I see it in your eyes, and you're going to see it in your eyes too before too long.
All right. Thank you.
Awesome. You're welcome. Thank you for showing up, even on those days when it's hard.
Yeah. Thank you.
Corey says, I practice choosing my thoughts by standing in the icy cold water in the shower before the water warms up and chanting, choosing my thoughts is easy and fun. Cora, that right there puts me in a suffering state. Just thinking about standing in icy cold water. Way to go, girlfriend. Holy cow. Thank you, Anne. Anne says, I'm right on track with the info today. Everything rings loud. So I'm so glad you're receiving that. I'm so glad you're here. Kristen says, my sister was an addict. My heart goes out to you. Her addictions took her life in the end. Be strong and true to yourself. Yeah, and she is, ladies. Like, and Shelly and I have some history together, so I know her better than I know some of you. And she's remarkable, just as you are. I have more experience with her amazingness than I have with all of you quite yet. But don't worry, because I will get intimately acquainted with each of your amazingness. So look at this. We're in good company. Holy cow, we're in such great company. Okay, we got 5 minutes. Who's next? Are we complete? I can't see everybody. Let me see if anybody's trying to get my attention.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, Miss Amy, absolutely. And
So
then
I
I'll
actually,
continue this question.
okay. So going through the day to day, you know what I have been going through
Mhm.
with the rental company and like owning the space and all of this stuff. And I've been thinking about staying in a beautiful state through all of this. Confusion is not a beautiful state, correct?
Correct. That's a suffering state.
Okay. So how do you get out of confusion? You were saying to chant or to say, I choose
I choose to
clarity.
have clarity. I choose to be clear. I choose to have clarity.
To have
I choose to have
clarity.
clarity about this situation. Yep. And then one way that you can have that clarity in a situation is to think about all of the things you already have clarity on. So I'm very clear. I've got clarity on I'm going to have a chicken breast for lunch. I'm not going to have a peanut butter sandwich. I'm very clear on what it is that I'm going to have for lunch. I'm very clear that nap time is at 2 o'clock. I've got clarity on that. So when you're reminding your brain of all of the ways you already have clarity, it makes it very easy for you to then get clarity on that specific situation that you feel a little bit confused about. Okay?
Okay.
Still look like, are you processing?
Yeah, I'm still not clear on it. Oh man.
Still not
Yeah.
clear. So what's making it unclear?
Well, so as I was talking to that guy, and he just kept getting more heated and more heated. Like the whole situation just doesn't add up. And so I kept asking him more questions, and he was like, I'll explain it one more time before I lose my patience. He said that, and I was like, but like, it's not clear in my head. It's not adding up. Like, why? And this is the second time today that I called in and talked to somebody about situation with the rental. Like, none of this stuff is adding up. Like, it just isn't adding up. So what I've decided to do is call in tomorrow, or maybe even go in and be like, look, I am not trying to make anybody mad to hang up on me. Like, I'm not trying to ruin your day. I'm trying to get clear about the sequence of things and how, like.
Yeah. And so what I would do, I would definitely go in or call tomorrow. So give it tonight, because tonight is when you're going to declare that you understand and that you're very clear and that you're all on the same page. And I'll help with the energy around that too. And then when you go in, just own it. Just own it. Like, I upset somebody yesterday because I just did not understand what he was telling me. And so I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page. And like people are so happy to help when you're like, so I'm as dumb as a stump. You're not actually going to say that. But when you come at it with like, I'm really trying to understand you and I cannot get clear on this, it instantly makes them defensive because it makes them wrong. But if you can be like, we just had this breakdown in communication and I just had such a hard time understanding. And so I really want to be on the same page with you. So can we go over this? And are you okay if I might ask the same question more than once, but I just want to make sure that everything, like, we're crystal clear on what's going on and I'm crystal clear on what's going on. And then we'll be like, yeah, of course. Let's get on the same page. And if they're being nasty, then you could be like, actually, is there somebody else that I can talk to? Because I can tell that I'm upsetting you a little bit and I don't want to do that either.
Yeah.
So try approaching it from that angle, but tonight just start declaring that you're clear on it. And then,
clear on this.
You're clear. You're on the same page. You understand.
Well, because thinking about it, I just was like, I'm just gonna pay the fine, and from here on, take very good notes on when they contact me and who called and what happened, and like just go forward from there. Like, if
that feels better to you, then I would do that. I would definitely do that regardless, taking really good notes and asking clear questions and, like all of that. And so that's a really awesome blessing that has come from this conversation today that you had with them, and from like the discomfort of today, like, oh yeah, I get to take really great notes about who I talked to and when I talked to them and what we talked about. And though that is very clear. That is very clear to me now that that's something that I get to do so that we're not in this situation again. So that's a big blessing. So thank you for that. And you also got to have some really fantastic practice asking for what you wanted and insisting on what you wanted. Their reaction is their reaction. You have nothing, you really have nothing to do with that, but you like the universe just provided you like right in your lap. Here's a wonderful opportunity for you to practice being in some really fantastic energy of insistence that your needs are met. And so they're not quite met yet, but you did insist and you did ask for what you wanted.
Yeah, well, so the guy said that I needed to put stuff online, like submit a request online.
Mm-hmm.
So I submitted 2 requests, one with the toilet and one with the fan, because the fan blows up, which doesn't do any good when it's 100 degrees outside, right? Like you want the fan to be blowing down. Anyway, so I went back into the portal tonight because they got the toilet fixed, and that was super fast, and I'm so glad that the toilet's fixed. But the fan, I was looking at the request that I had submitted, and the fan wasn't in it, and so I redid. I submitted another request, and then I scrolled down farther, and it showed that he had canceled my request because the fan works fine in one direction. I'm like, I know. Well, I flip it, and the fan wobbles. It doesn't just fan down, like it wobbles. So that I'm like, I don't know if we run it and then it gets ruined, if it's our fault, like, I don't know. Anyway.
So you submitted the request again, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and so then I would just call and let them know why you resubmitted it, because you're concerned that it's going to cause some damage because it's wobbling.
Yeah. Yep.
So Anne says the fan has a switch on it that you just flip like a light switch. Whoa, that just moved. It has to completely stop and start over in the right direction. So that's not the issue, though. The issue is when it changes direction, then it's making the fan unstable.
Yeah. Well, how it blows now, it pushes the air up. It doesn't push it down. So when you switch the fan, like you switch the direction of it, it blows down, but it wobbles, like it back and forth and back and forth. Right. Yeah.
So it's not balanced.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I would ask.
Okay. I am clear. I am clear.
You are clear. You got clarity. Yep.
We are all on the same page.
Yep. That is awesome. We have a couple more questions and we're a little bit over time. So I'm going to answer these questions. I'm not going to do any more personal coaching with anybody on here. Winter mode and summer mode, she says. There are a couple more questions, so I'm going to answer those. So if you want to hang with me for just a few more minutes, then that would be super awesome. One thing that I do want to point out, Amy and I have had a conversation because Amy's a private client, so she gets private access to me. There have been a few of you that have reached out to me for personalized coaching, but you're not paying for personalized coaching, you're paying for group coaching. And so that's why I've invited you to share it in the group, in the Facebook group with people. And so if you've got something that you're like, oh, I just want your eyes on it, that's not what the group mentoring does. We would get to have a conversation about you being a private client of mine for that kind of attention. But I totally get that. I'm not going to make anybody wrong for doing that, but that's why I just lovingly invite you to put it on the Facebook group so that I can coach you there, because I'm happy to coach you. If you're not a private client, I don't have time to coach everybody privately who's in a group program, because I don't have time to coach my private clients. And so I know you understand that and you respect that. But this is such a sacred, safe place, as you can see with everybody's comments and just the amazing energy here, that it's wonderful to be vulnerable in that Facebook group, and we can support you and I can coach you there. And so we'll make sure we get your needs met. It just needs to be within the program that you've paid for, and you're in the Rise Up group mentoring program. So I should have said that at the beginning, but I forgot. Okay, so Susan asked, do we keep the paper after we write 35 times about forgiveness for the week, or do we throw it away and then go on to the next person? That's completely up to you. You're doing it 70 times though. You're doing it 35 times twice a day. And I just have a notebook, so probably when my notebook is full, then I'll probably just toss the whole notebook and get another one and do it in the other notebook. So yeah, you don't have to do like a write and burn or, you know, do a ritual with it. You don't have to. If you want to, you can, but yeah, you can just go ahead and toss it when you're done. And then cold water is great for blood. No, there was somebody who asked about money. Tiffany, I get stuck on asking for more money when I feel I don't budget to the best of my ability. Okay, so to answer the question about that, really, so people totally get caught up on budgeting, like, ugh, I used to hate budgeting, until I looked at it as I have thousands and thousands of employees every month, and I am the lady boss, and they need to go to work for me. And we run a great big old plant, and there are thousands of employees that need to make the house payment, and there's employees that need to get gas in the car, and there's employees that get the really fun things like going out to dinner or buying shoes or like those fun things. And then some of the employees have to do the crap jobs like get new tires on the car or like pay the insurance or whatever. But they are allocated. They each have a job so that the whole plant can run really, really smoothly and really effectively. Because if I'm not the one in charge of all of these employees, they're going to burn the plant to the ground, as you've probably done with your finances to some point before. Maybe not to the ground, but close. And so that was really helpful for me to get my mind around that I'm the boss and these are my employees and these are the jobs that they need to do. And so I'm going to invite you to look at it from that perspective instead of I don't budget very well and I'm not a good steward over money. This will help you become a really good steward over money. And it's just like the whole parable of the ice cream cone. You've got to show that you can take really great care of the money that's coming in. Otherwise, God's not going to send you a triple-decker cone because it'll burst you into flames, and He doesn't want to do that. All right? It's very painful to go through that. And so use this as your practice. And then you're like, look at this. I can totally grow into 10K a month. I can totally grow into 30K a month. All right? All of that. So I don't use a budgeting app. You can if you want. If you resonate with that, then sure, use a budgeting app. And Shane says, I have to express my true gratitude. This has been so very helpful with the modules. My goal is huge, but I feel so good about it and have been able to continue the change in running the programs. Woo-woo! Love the Neds, love the beautiful states, worked on meditation and developing that more also. Amazing. Ah, thank you, Shane. I'm so glad. Like, allow me to brag on this program because it's not mine. Like, I'm not the one who came up with all of this. God just helped me put it all together. Like, isn't it amazing? Like, it's such an honor to be able to teach it and to watch your lives change so quickly from it. It's so much darn fun. So much darn fun. All right, and we've got one last message. What's the language we would use to call that into existence as far as giving money its job? I need more clarity on that question, Jill. The language we would use to call that into existence as far as giving money its job. Are you talking about the money being your employee? Or are you talking about well, you know, I would just say we're having a team meeting with the bank account today. So gather round, all my employees. You're going here, you're going there, you're going there. So that's what when you don't physically have the money, oh gosh, well, I would still just, I'm so happy and grateful now that I make 10K a month because this means we're going on a cruise. This means that this financial obligation is no longer in existence because we've paid it in full. All of my obligations are taken care of. I'm in financial relaxation. It just feels so wonderful to be able to hold this container with this much more money because I'm such a freaking awesome steward over money as it is. And money loves me. Money loves how I take care of it. Money knows we're going to have a good time together. It knows I appreciate it. It knows I'm in gratitude with it. And if you don't have all of the money to pay your bills, you go into lots and lots of gratitude for the money you have for the bills you can pay. So if you can make a partial payment, you know what? Half of you is going to go to pay half of the insurance. So rock on, you guys. Thank you. I'm so glad that you're here because then that is going to connect you with abundance. It's going to connect you with prosperity, even if you don't have all of the money to to take care of everything. And then if there are people that you need to call to let them know, hey, I'm only going to be able to make a partial payment this month, or I'm not able to make the payment this month, but we're working so that we can get it paid next month. You know, you just come from this place of, I want you to know what page we're on, and this is where we're at. And when companies know that, they're so much more willing to work with you than if you're trying to hide and you're in shame and you're making yourself wrong and all of that. So it's just that, you know what, this is what we're working with right now. Some of it's allocated here, 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 and here. Not all of it's going to cover everything, but that's not how it's always going to be. And because I'm doing this, and things are going to work out. Tiffany, if I already pay tithing, do I still save 10% on top of that? If you can. Most people have a really difficult time if you're doing 10% tithe plus 10%, they have a really hard time living on 80%. If you can save that 10% on top of that, then do that, because this is your future confidence fund that you're putting into the savings account. So this is your confidence in the future. And so definitely worth it to do that. If you can't, then pick a specific dollar amount. Maybe it's $20 a paycheck, maybe it's $10, maybe it's $50, maybe it's only $5. I don't care the amount that it is as much as I care that this money right here, its job is to grow bigger, and you're going right here into my confidence in the future fund, AKA my savings account. Okay? Does that make sense? Are we clear? All right, you guys. 20% felt huge. Yeah. So we're gonna work with what we got. Perfect. You're welcome. All right, my friends, thank you for staying with me a little bit longer, a little bit past 9. Some of you, it's past 11. So thanks for hanging in there. If you have, you're remarkable. You're absolutely remarkable. I will see you in the Facebook group. I will get this recording's got to be converted and then uploaded and all of that. So you might not see it until tomorrow morning. I will get working on it tonight though. Also, I'm going to be off grid through the weekend. I'm going to a business and mindset conference. I'm so excited because I get to come home and share what I learned with you. So I can't wait. It's going to be so amazing. And so if I'm slow to answer in the Facebook group, it's because I'm off grid in a conference and we have to have our phones off and, you know, being present and all of that stuff. So you guys understand that. So, but I will get to your questions and your comments as soon as I possibly can. So thank you all for being here tonight. Mwah! Much, much love to you. We will see you in the call on the 31st of this month, but we'll see you in the Facebook group tomorrow. All right. Love you guys. Bye.